going to spread. I think that this is just like the first or second wave of, the next couple that are coming yet. Just my opinion, but I think, instead of declaring a state of, once they declared a state of national emergency, then the next step is, okay, we got to start slowly closing things down where people commune and get together. And then after that, okay, so now we got to go to the next step. We got to start shutting down, travel, and then, within the communities. And then pretty soon it's going to be, a state of martial law just to help maintain order, for all these things that are happening. And I think if they did this all at one time, it would just be pure pandemonium. And this is just my observance and nothing more. So
they've pretty much shut down everything here.
Yeah. Where are you at, Nor?
I'm in Delaware.
Okay.
So bars, schools, gyms, the movie theaters, bowling alleys, everything is shut down. You can't.
And I think that's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to. We just got our notification today from the governor. It'll be 9 p.m. tonight. All the bars, restaurants, all that stuff will be shut down 100%. So it's kind of
you're in like Wyoming or something.
I'm in Montana. Yeah, we have 7 documented cases, but I think we're just under the assumption that we have a shit ton of cases, but just most of them haven't been tested, right?
Well, you guys actually have like 2 stoplights, right?
There's 2 or 3. Yeah, that's but the horses don't really listen to them.
They don't.
You try, but it doesn't do any good. The potholes are a bitch too.
Yeah, right. Gotta hope the springs are good on the buggy.
Oh yeah, my buggy is polished up and ready to go.
Right.
You sound a lot like me though, man. We only have 7 cases, but we are a very small state, and those cases are in the most populated county in my state. So it's like, it's crazy here, man. Watching people, try to go to Costco and BJ's and buy everything. Look, man, I've been prepping for a long time, bro. All I did was stocked up on ammo and cigars. I'm good to go.
Right.
Buying a couple more boxes, but I think I'm good on my shells.
Yeah, man.
Mark, can I ask you a question? How was it announced to you guys? Or you're not on full lockdown? They just have closed the restaurants, and because I'm wondering, like, are we going to be given 24 or 48 hours to prepare? What does that look like for someone that is?
For me, I heard it on the radio that 8 o'clock tonight, everything was shut down.
Right. And wow. For us, I heard it this morning that the governor announced this morning that by 3 o'clock today, all restaurants, bars, casinos, everything was closed down. Other than, the restaurants could still stay open to do delivery of food, and and that was it. There was no carry out, there was no, they could deliver food. There might have been carry out, but they could still maintain operation of their business. They just couldn't have people sitting in the dining room eating.
But you weren't mandated to stay in your home.
Not yet. It's coming. I don't think anybody other than, I think there's some in California, New York. Right. And I'm not sure of any other. Those are the only 2 I'm aware of.
And I would think they would have to give people like a time frame so that people have a chance to travel back home if they're,
Right. Right. And I think they did that. They did that with the people that were overseas, right? They gave them a deadline for anybody that was overseas to come back into the country. Then they had to go into a mandatory
quarantine,
for 2 weeks before they could, move on to their homes. So, it's really, it's scary.
It's a soft rollout. They're going to do martial law, but they're not going to use that word. It's just a soft rollout. Everything will be closed, so you might as well stay home.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they'll mandate it,
Right.
But hopefully there will still be mail delivery and UPS delivery, so you can order some things online,
Honestly, I've been thinking this since January when all this stuff started coming down and all these things started happening. I've been saying actually since the end of January, why don't we just do it? If it's here now, if it got here, okay, just shut everything down now.
That would have been the most effective thing, but
people would have been the hardest thing for people to take.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it would have been the best way. And the best way, whatever, who really knows the best way for
Right.
anything when it comes to that.
Right.
Obviously it's got to be some pretty harsh and difficult decisions for anybody to have to make.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that that's the importance of this and groups like this and people that come together and can communicate and kind of share each other's ideas. So, you know, that's why we're here. Paul, how have you been?
I've been doing good, man. You know, like I said, we haven't been on any type of a lockdown or anything like that. They have announced some of the schools closing, and I think a lot of the places around here. I'm in Northern Virginia, by the way, folks. So I'm about an hour west of DC. So, I mean, for the most part, people are still sort of moving around a little bit. I mean, I went into the office today to check the mail, but other than that, I normally stay in the house. That, you know, I don't go out too much anyway.
Smart.
It's gonna be challenging for my line of work, you know, traveling to people's homes and doing work and stuff in their houses. So
That's true.
I don't think I'll be doing much carpentry work unless I'm doing it for my shop. So anybody wants any custom pieces, let's get on the design table now.
Well, you know,
and
we
I'll get
did
this
start
stuff
talking
shipped
about
out
that
to you. So
crypto Campfire guitar. So if you want
Right.
to find that piece of body, and we can start making a guitar.
okay, all right.
Just saying,
I'm
it's
down.
not going to bring you any money, but that's your problem.
No.
I'm curious to know what you guys think about Mitt Romney's suggestion today for a form of UBI where every American gets $1,000 payment. When I read that, the first thing I thought about was Andrew Yang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. The first thing I thought about was like vindication for Andrew Yang, because fortunately for me, I'm a project manager, so I work from home anyway. My job is closed until the middle of May. Well, not closed, but the buildings are closed till the middle of May. So I'm supposed to work from home until at least the middle of May. But I think about the mom and pop shops, the small businesses, like the little lady around the corner from my house that has a little bagel shop that's open from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and how she's going to make ends meet. It's just her and her husband in there.
Yeah.
And they rely on people coming in and buying breakfast and lunch. And when I thought about that, it really kind of resonated with me. It's weird because I don't do handouts. But with that said, I understand why this is necessary. Just like Bush did with that $600 government check that people got, and the economy saw a slight bump from that. But I think about the people who don't have an option in this environment. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know,
I don't think you can let them go under, you know?
No, you know, Mike McDonald is a guy on Twitter. He said this. He says, as someone who is quite anti-UBI under normal circumstances, I think more than washing your hands, more than social distancing, and even more than hoarding toilet paper, implementation of a temporary UBI is the single most important thing in handling the effects of this virus. I have to agree.
Right. And I've been listening to a lot of stuff, a lot of information coming in, right? You know, from all different sources. And I've heard that cutting the payroll tax. So if you are able to have an income, if you are able to be making money, that not having your income taxed right now for the rest of the year would probably be one way. You know, another way, I don't know that I necessarily agree with just handing people money in that regard. I think there's ways to do it. You know, one thing that the Fed did do was by decreasing the interest rate to basically zero interest for small loans, you know, for businesses, right? That could take a small loan like your little mom and pop shops to survive this and not have to pay interest on
time
that.
out. No, the damn banksters have stolen enough from us with loans and everything else, and we've been bailing them out by the trillions.
I'm not saying I agree with it.
The common man, $1,000 a month, that is peanuts.
It is peanuts.
In the big scene of things, it won't affect the world or our country, but it might keep mom and pop businesses alive, and I am all for it.
Right.
Lisa, I love your mom.
Hallelujah.
She's full of fire.
I love your mom.
She
She's awesome.
She is
to the world.
I think what I was going to say
in the corner here. You got Pauly P has arrived.
Yeah, Pauly P jumped in.
Hey,
What's up,
Pauly.
Paul?
What's up, Pauly?
Hey, what's
Seed
happening,
King.
folks? I need
What's
to
happening?
apply to the Nana School of Life.
Right?
Hey,
He's got to
right.
figure it out, right?
You're welcome. Sign up
Some
today.
beekeeping in, learn how to bake some bread.
Right?
I guess it's
Everybody-
time.
Yeah,
Have some
everybody-
Start up your own
run.
class.
Unpaid moms
You know,
already.
You know, I'd be curious to find out. You know, everybody talks about UBI and stuff like that, and of course, Andrew Yang is sort of brought to the surface. But here's the thing I don't get. In Alaska, they've been doing this forever. And again, I'm not an expert on Alaska. I don't know how well it's working in Alaska, but the fact that they've been doing it in Alaska for so long, no one ever brings that up. It's like they give everybody in Alaska $1,000 or $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody says anything.
Yeah, they have great, petroleum reserves, and why not? Why did the banksters, and the CEOs have to make an extra 50 million each year?
What
Right.
about putting a freeze on debt? What about
Yep,
taking
yep.
everybody's debt right
What
now
about a
and
debt
putting a
jubilee?
freeze on it?
Hang on, I gotta let a dog out.
Yeah, it's all right.
The old
You know,
Jubilee thought.
if you put a freeze on debt right now, even if it's just for the next 3 months, who's going to suffer from that other than the corporations and banks that have been making money off of that debt for eons, right? So let them suffer a little bit and take the strain off the working families that don't necessarily or can't necessarily make it week to week because they don't even have that week to week income now, right?
Mitch,
So that's my thought.
Mitch, let me go ahead and leap off the cliff here, okay?
Please.
Imagine if the $700 million bailout that they're getting ready to do for the banks, right?
Went to the people, right?
Imagine if you gave every voting age American a check for $1 million.
Right, much less
That's
than the banksters get.
It's $165 million instead of the 700 that the banks want. And you would pretty much wipe out debt
Right.
Yep.
in the country. You will
Yeah.
wipe it out.
That's true.
Because the very first thing people are going to do is they're going to pay off their car.
Maybe I'm
Pay off
thinking
their
too
house.
conservatively, but
Right. I mean, that's why I
you
said
know,
let's jump off the
yeah,
cliff. They're going to pay off
right.
their car, pay off the house, and then guess what? They're going to go buy a new car. They're going to go buy a new house, and then they're going to stick that money in the bank. Then if it's me, I'm going to go buy additional rental properties, and I'm going to buy more Bitcoin, and I'm going to buy some gold
Yeah.
and some silver, and
Right.
I'm going to put other people to work.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
And
could you
that's a big
imagine?
thing right there.
Could you imagine if the government was like, you know what, we're not going to bail out the banks, we're going to bail out America. All right, here's a check, 60 days, $1 million coming right now. What would you do if you had $1 million right now, bro?
War for president.
Yes.
No kidding, right? I
But
got
it's a
that
lot
campaign.
cheaper than bailing out the banks.
Right. No,
and
it
they're
is.
getting
But
billions every night, and those repos are billions,
yeah.
and they're not all repaid.
Trillions. 1.5 trillion.
Yeah, that's right.
Trillion.
That's
No,
right.
It's
Most
2
recently.
trillion. It's 2 trillion now because they did 500 billion tonight.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
Jesus.
So we're at
Jeez.
$2 trillion for repo plus a $700 billion bailout for the banks. And then on top of that, they want to do a payroll holiday, payroll tax holiday. So
Right.
not only are you printing money, but you're not getting money in.
That's right.
You
That's
just,
right.
if you're going to add debt
That'll get the dog.
Right.
to my children, give me $1 million check. I'll turn that $1 million into 5. Give me 2
Yep.
years.
Right.
Yep.
No, I mean, that's a solid way of looking at it for sure. You know, I was thinking more along the lines of like, what can you do right now?
Mhm.
Right. You know, because I mean, most people that are check to check are worried about what am I going to, not only how am I going to keep a roof over my head right now, but how am I going to put food on the table next week?
Right.
Because the fridge has got a half a gallon of milk in it. It's got a couple slices of cheese. Maybe if they're lucky, they got a little bit of lunch meat, and that's about it. You know what I mean? So those are the people that I feel for the most. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm blessed, and I've been fortunate, and I've been given skills and a talent to be able to survive and provide for my family. And now that those skills and talent really won't do anything for me in the immediate future, you know, yeah, there's that level of stress, that level of anxiety there, but knowing that, you know what, they'll get their money. I'm not worried about it. Right. come take my house. That's going to take a couple years if it even came to that. So, I'm fortunate in that regard, and there's so many that aren't. And I guess that's where my immediate, like you said, how can we help these people? How can the government, sustain this and help these people now? And forget about the banks for a minute, right? Why does it always go to them? Like, like Nana says, why does it always have to go to the banksters? Why are they so important? What makes them so all high and mighty over the people?
And we would require so little to live well, and they have thousands of times more than that, and it's not enough.
It's my understanding that with Trump, when he did the state of emergency, it's my understanding that in that provision, I want to say that he specifically said that small businesses will be able to go to the IRS and get an advancement to be able to continue to pay people. And so I think that's going to help a lot of small business owners, Americans. I posted a string about what all the provisions are once he did this national state of emergency. And it's incredible the amount of support that he can give to small businesses and get rid of a lot of the red tape that it would take for us to usually get those kind of loans or funding. So I think there's a plan here that we all need to trust that, first of all, trust that God's in control and that we're going to get through this and that we're live in the most amazing country on earth. And I just really feel like it's going to be uncomfortable and we're going through this transition, but we're going through this transition even though it seems really uncomfortable, in the safest way that we can. Because I really think this has a lot more to do with the economy than the virus.
I agree with you, but my only issue with that is if a small business has to go to the IRS to get money, right? They're going because they have expenses that they have to pay now. What if America dropped the ball on the coronavirus and we're not able to get it under control as quickly as South Korea or China did, and it takes us a year? Now that business is in debt and they still don't have customers. That's my only thing. That's why I say give the money to the people.
I agree.
Because a business can say, okay, fine, you can't come in. We can hire some drivers because now you got money in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
We can reinvent ourselves to cater to you, because my job, when they told us that we weren't coming back until May, the one thing that went through my mind is what happened when I worked for Verizon. When I worked for Verizon, they said, okay, we need a new HVAC system in our building in Georgia. So you guys have to work from home for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, went by. Then at the end of that 2 weeks, they said, well, we want to repaint and we want to put in some new furniture into the building. And we'll see you guys in a month. So 6 weeks goes by. And then the next thing I know, I get this letter, this email that says, well, you guys have been out of the office for 6 weeks and we've saved so much money that we're selling our building in Sandy Springs. We're going to move to an office park where we have a 4-story building. You're going to have desk sharing. And now you only have to come to work 1 day a week. And that's because they were saving money. They adapted to what was happening. They found a way to capitalize on what was happening, and they made the most of it without having to fire people, without having to ask for money from the government. If the money that you pay in taxes right now comes back to you in the form of a check, you can do one or two things with it. You can do the Austrian thing, which is save it, or you can do the Keynesian thing, which is spend it. Either way, if it's in your hands, you do the most for the economy. The banks, even with 0% interest rates, the banks are giving out loans. They're not going to give me a mortgage for a new house at 0% interest.
Great point.
They're not. I wish they would.
We might be headed
amazing.
there. We might be headed there.
When I bought my house, I just bought my wife and I just bought our house in September. The VA loan is awesome because veterans don't have to put money down. But what they don't tell you is that the down payment is rolled into the mortgage. So unless you have 20% down, it's smarter to just have 20% down, put the money down, and have a smaller mortgage than it is to use the VA loan, because you're still rolling that 20% into your mortgage and you're paying a larger bill.
Right.
You know? Now think about the homeless vets on the street right now. You give them $1 million. My brothers in arms that are sleeping on the street after they came home from Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Enduring Freedom, and Iraqi Freedom, who don't have anything. You give them $1 million. Let them go buy properties, pick themselves up, lift themselves up, help other vets. That's my idea of a bailout.
It will help some people, but that just your example of, so some people, not vets necessarily, but some of the homeless people, there's a lot of mental illness there. And Oprah years and years and years ago did a show where she said, what happens when you give a homeless man $100 or $1 million? And within, it wasn't even a year, he had spent it all, married 2 women, bought himself a $60,000 truck or something. Like, it wasn't $1 million. I think this was back in like the 90s, and maybe it was like $100,000. I can't remember, but it was really powerful. And he turned it around, that they interviewed him, and he turned it around that, well, it was the man's fault that he was broke again, because he couldn't get his driver's license because he has previous parking tickets or issues, I don't know, issues with the government. So it was always, there's no matter where we are, it's not going to lift everyone up. I mean, maybe it'll be great for the economy because everyone will get the money and it'll be spent, but we won't be in this utopia where there's no homeless people.
There's going to be the irresponsible few.
Yeah.
Right.
And I agree with you. But
sure.
you know what my thing is, and maybe this sounds insensitive. Maybe this is the Black libertarian in me coming out. They deserve to fail.
Okay.
I agree.
I don't think libertarians have a color, by the way.
But when I tell people that, they kind of look at me like, what?
Yeah. No,
well, what you're saying is they should be responsible for their own actions. If they're mentally capable of going out and buying a $60,000 car, if they're mentally capable of doing these things, then they should be fully responsible for their failure and their irresponsibility or whatever with that money, is basically what you're saying.
Yep.
Not so much that I think you should fail, but if you deserve it. If you don't know how, then ask somebody how. And I think that's a big thing. You know, there's this book that's out there and it's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, it holds true to so many things, that if you're raised with a situation, if you're raised with money, if you're raised with a different mindset, right? Because mindset is what life's all about. Mindset is what drives us in certain directions. And, you know, having that forethought or having that upbringing where you have that mindset available to you, and so many don't. Right. And I think that's where a lot of those issues would come from. Not so much just being irresponsible, but being ignorant to the fact of knowing how to do it differently.
I look at it this way. I am a married father of 4 children. I don't have the option to take care, Lisa.
Bye, Lisa.
I don't have the option to mess up money. I can't print money if I make a mistake and I put my family in harm's way. I don't have the benefit of saying, I didn't know. Can I get a do-over? Can I retry? I don't have that option. And so if I need to learn something, if I come across something that I need to grow from, it's my responsibility. It's no one else's responsibility, only my own. So like I said, if I sounded insensitive, that wasn't my intent, but that's my reality.
Sometimes you got to have a learning experience. That's how it works, you know, such as life. And if you don't have learning experiences, where are you going to go?
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Oh, Mr. Mosty is raising his hand. I forgot that is an option.
There's a couple other people.
I'm just going to lower his hand and pretend he's not there. No, I'm just kidding. Mosty, what's going on? We also have Tamara and or Euclid. I don't know which or both. Who we got here?
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Nice. Yeah, we got you both. What's up?
Hey guys. Thanks for inviting us to the chat here. I can't believe what's happening, and this whole thing is overwhelming. It's out of nowhere. Let me back up. It's not out of nowhere. It's been happening for a while, and we've been preparing, but it's finally hitting the United States. I think people are figuring out that this thing is real, and people are finally starting to act. And I'm happy to know, but I feel it's too little, too late. And I don't know what you guys are even. Are we even talking about the virus here, guys?
We're talking
Mostly
about
had his
virus
hand up.
and Bitcoin and everything, but yeah. Okay, so Mr. Mosty, what's up? So,
Can you guys hear me?
we got you.
Yeah, I this is my first time being on this, so I'm trying to figure out why my picture's not up there.
Here, I'll do this. I'll send you a invite to start video, and then it'll pop up so you can just click the button. Make it
Got
easy.
it.
See if that works.
Oh,
There we
There he
go. Now we're talking.
There he
oh,
is.
oh. Hey, there's Tito.
Nice. But yeah, Euclid, we did kind of start off talking about the virus because we had a podcast scheduled, and then they weren't able to make it, so we decided we would just fire up a live stream and say hi to everybody, and that's kind of what's on everybody's minds right now. We just wanted to sort of check in with everybody and get a joint communication system going on so we can all just kind of hang out and talk for a little bit. So
Yeah, I love
we'll
it.
have all you here for sure.
I think it's great. I wonder, what are we going to do communication wise if things do start to fail, as far as the systems and stuff. So
You guys have a ham radio?
are we switching to ham radios and CBs?
Well, you can send Bitcoin over ham radio, so we might as well.
Yeah,
Well,
somebody
that's
was
something
talking
in my
about that
Faraday
today.
cage.
It was Nick Sops was talking about that today on a thread I was on. How you can actually through ham radio. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can actually. I was looking at setting one up just for a test. I was watching some YouTube videos and reading some documentation on how you can set up like an old Dish Network satellite and essentially send Bitcoin over satellite just with a laptop and a old satellite dish and some sneaky configuration. So I thought that would be fun to try, and now it's starting to feel like it might almost be necessary to try.
Right. Yeah. You might want to practice,
Yeah, right. And now you got to figure out where I can get one of those stupid dishes. They got to be hanging on everybody's house. It's got to be a bunch
But
of
with
them
as
that nobody wants.
automated as things are, it'd be hard to fathom, not unrealistic to fathom, but hard to fathom that, these things that are already in place that run themselves basically, and all we got to do is provide a payment every month to keep it turned on for us, right? But like cell phones, okay, what do we need people for when it comes to our cell phone usage or operation?
Well, somebody's got to repair the physical equipment and keep it up and going. There's a lot of physical equipment involved in all of that, even though it's very digital and very virtual from the end user perspective.
Mhm.
From the administration and management standpoint, is very hands-on and very physical. When you start looking at large scale things like cell phones, there's a lot of labor that goes into that. So I think that's where the biggest difficulties are going to come from. And you also see things, you need parts to repair a lot of that equipment in a lot of cases, or components. And so when supply chains start getting disrupted and you have a lack of things being manufactured, or at least difficulties in acquiring it, or even long lead times in acquiring it, then you end up with service disruptions, which then spawn more service disruptions from downstream providers. And it's just a big chain reaction of small events. And I think
And how do you
that's
get
part
it
of
from one place to another? Like the parts, if you don't have people shipping, or
right, people have to physically deliver them. And that's
Right,
so
the
like
logistics
Paul
involved.
McNeil over there, when we were talking on our podcast with you, we talked a lot about the future of tech and self-driving cars delivering things for you, and your car is working for you and things like that. And this is, if nothing else, an amazing catalyst to start stimulating some of that technology.
I was going to say that, like, who is it now wishing we had more AI?
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
Right?
we have the technology, we just don't have the infrastructure. We've got the cars that can drive, but our roads are just, you can't just deploy them in any town and expect they're
No.
going to work. Now, if all of our streets were perfect and we had perfect lines and everything, sure, Tesla could just deploy 1 million Teslas out there delivering shit, and it'd be wonderful, but we just don't have the infrastructure. But this is a prime example of a situation where even when you look at the downsides of that technology, the upsides are incredibly beneficial.
How
They're
close?
advancing in trucking that way.
They
Yeah.
definitely are. There's one company I was just reading. I forget where it was. I think it was Georgia or Alabama, but they're running 50 trucks right now with no drivers. And I mean, a lot of the larger companies have already made purchases through him. And it's funny. I mean, I look at it as, you know, I don't think it'll be for another 10 years, because you are correct. These roads are like third world country out here. There's no doubt about it. I'm in a brand new 2020 Freightliner, and I can still feel every bump on the road. I mean, and you're correct. It's the white lines, but who knows what they're really putting in a lot of this new ground. You see all this work, at least I do. I see, you know, the road work, bridge work is like crazy right now, at least in the 36 states that I do see.
Yeah.
And it's going to take all that. It's going to take a lot of effort on the roads to even get Tesla or anybody else, unless, of course, you know, they're going to have some fancy wire like a bumper car that brings in some, you know, telemedia signal.
Well,
But
actually in DC,
don't be surprised.
DC, I think Uber is talking about launching self-driving cars next year in DC.
Yeah, they were.
Look how close, though, we got to where we all did have solar roofs and Tesla batteries in our homes. Like we were getting very close. And I feel like, and again, guys, I'm kind of seeing this thing in, and I don't mean to be like a doomer here, which is what I've been called on Twitter now as a doomer. But
Better than a boomer.
no,
Right?
yeah,
A little bit.
I embrace it. But no, I'm not
boomer doomer.
I'm not a doomsday person, but I'm just worried how this is going to turn out and how it's going to domino effect. And we're so dependent on the system, what's the word for the power grid. We're so dependent on the grid, and if one thing fails, it's all going to just tumble, in my opinion. And that's what I'm worried about is we're not prepared for this, guys. We're not. Our family is, but I think the United States, America is not. We're not prepared for this. And I think I'm kind of concerned about what's in store for us.
You know what, man? It's funny that you said that. I work for a power company. I work for Exelon Energy. And I get a subsidy from my job because I have Tesla panels in the power wall.
Mm-hmm.
They want people off of the grid because it's stressed.
Right.
It's extremely stressed right now.
Right.
Now, I work on the customer side of the house in IT, so I can't really speak to the types of infrastructure that we have or how it's set up or configured or any of that other stuff. But I do know that they pay people who are off the grid.
Right.
If you're generating power, my power wall I have one unit. So my power wall can pretty much cover most of the things in my house, like all of my kitchen, maybe my basement and my living room.
That's cool.
And if you have access, don't they have to buy it back?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Isn't that
That's
how
a
that?
beautiful thing.
Because
That's
you
why
can
I'm
only
trying to get
store
another
so
power
much
wall.
of the energy that you can create.
Right. That's why I'm trying to get a second power wall. Because then I'm
Right.
completely off the grid and then I'm making money from
That's
my
sweet.
job, from my employer.
Right. That's cool. You're the first one to get laid off. Come on.
Right.
If you guys remember, what was it about? I think it was in 2003, maybe 2004, when the whole Northeast section of the United States went black, right? We lost everything. That was a freaky experience. And I think that if I remember right, that lasted for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty crazy, but here's the thing, and we were talking about this earlier, is adapting, right? Euclid, I think people, if given opportunity or if forced with the necessity, we will adapt. We're a resilient race. We're a resilient people, and that will never change. I feel that the majority, let me say it that way, the majority are. And as long as there's drive, as long as there's love in the world, and even in small communities like this, I think we will all survive in one respect or another. And it's only going to happen based on communities. It's not going to happen as individuals, I don't think, as well, because I mean, if you don't interact with other people, you'll start losing your shit.
So Mitch, I hear you, man, and I guess I am getting on up in age, and heck, maybe you could call me a boomer these days. But I'm the older I get, hold on, I'm getting off topic. Anyway,
that's
because you're getting old.
I know.
We tagged you so that you could get off topic.
So I'm seeing the kids, okay, these crazy kids, okay, at spring break. Right. In Florida at the beaches, there's a pandemic going on, guys. I don't know if you're aware of it, but people are dying. Let's not all go party. And what do? They all get together and party their ass off. That's got me worried. And it gets me. I'm still in the angry stage, and I'm sorry, but I'm angry right now, and I'm pissed off.
Joy.
Yeah, good for you. Lucky you, Tamara.
Lucky me.
I'm angry because it's this kind of blatant lack of respect for human life that is actually putting my family in danger. And it's annoying and it's frustrating. And I'm still getting people fighting me on Twitter saying this is all ridiculous. This is still nothing. And you're overreacting, bro. And it's frustrating.
No,
hey, Sherpa.
You're not
How's it going, guys?
What's up, Sherpa?
What up?
Go ahead,
I'm
Paulie.
actually traveling right now. I'm in a motel room, like halfway across the country from where I live, and I'm nervous about getting home. But this wasn't like a pleasure cruise for me. I'm taking care of like my mom's estate and stuff, and this has been scheduled for a while. But I'm still nervous, man. Am I going to catch something while I'm out here, and then take it home? To my friends. I mean, I don't want that to happen.
Right.
But it's not like I'm out here like on Twitter going, woohoo, I'm spreading it around the world. This was, something I had to do.
I think what Yuki was saying is that there's so many people out there that are just taking this so flippantly that
making
and not
a joke
putting
about it.
Yes.
And not putting any severity behind it. And I think those are the ones that'll suffer the most, but also cause that, to be part of the problem and not the solution.
Right.
I guess, yeah, I'm aggravated. I tweeted out, I think a week ago, there was a girl selling Girl Scout cookies in front of Walmart, and I was very frustrated. And I made a comment that this is the state of, what's happening right now with our society is that, there's a pandemic happening, and the girls out there selling Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
A girl's got to sell cookies.
No, but it's just that. I didn't know we had a group chat. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Like I said, I'm in the angry stage, and I'll get over it, and I'll get back to zen and being just like, okay, just deal with what's happening. I'm really frustrated with how. I don't want to get political, but I'm frustrated with how the president handled this whole thing. And I'm really upset that he, a week ago, was tweeting that this thing is just a flu. And that's really frustrating to me personally.
And that's cool, man. That's why we're all here though, right? Yuki, is to be able to get that shit off our chest. I don't know about anybody else here, but this is a no judgment zone for me. That's what communities are supposed to be about. We don't necessarily have to agree with one another, but accepting each other and accepting our opinions, and helping to talk through those, if you're that, I'm sorry that you feel that way, and it's gotta be frustrating as hell. And I'm sure, everybody handles stress differently. Everybody handles it in different ways. So please don't feel any way funny about voicing how you feel. That's perfectly perfectly normal. I love it.
Euclid doesn't hold back for sure.
No, he
I
doesn't.
also agree with him because
I will say it's probably not a good idea to point fingers right now. Like we should, just kind of come together and figure out
I hear that. I understand. I understand not everyone sees from my perspective, and I know that my perspective could be flawed. I'm certainly not here to say that this is the truth or this is the only truth. Okay, but from my perspective, that's how I see it. Certainly, I am. Not here to.
Well, certainly you're a flawed man. So,
oh God. Are we allowed to cuss on this show?
Fuck no.
Okay, good.
That's harsh.
For fuck's sake,
Keep your
yes,
fucking
I am
mouth shut.
the most flawed person on the planet, and I know that. But yeah, I'm just mad. I'm aggravated, and I don't know. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I was out and I was noticing, people, because a friend of mine, he wanted to go with his son to, I forget, like go to the gym or something. I'm like, you can't do that. You have to self quarantine. You have to self discipline yourself. But when we got out there, I was shocked at how many people are just out and about as things are normal. And what I came to the conclusion is that I think it's going to be incredibly difficult to have people self quarantine themselves. They can't do that without someone over them giving them rules saying you can't do it, because they just won't take the responsibility.
And I think there's a fundamental lack of understanding, and whether it falls back on our public schools, I don't know. But people are trying to equate how many people are killed in an auto accident every month.
Yeah.
And that's just irrelevant, because we're talking about something that is geometric progression, or what, exponential growth. This thing is doubling every 6 days. The R naught factor is humongous. There'll be 6 million Americans dead by June at the current rate. And I think people are either, one, in so much denial because they can't handle that kind of reality.
Yes.
Or two, they are so ignorant on fundamental math and scientific facts. You try to, talk to them about the virus, that this isn't like bacteria that you go and put a little bleach or antibiotic on. This is a coronavirus with a biotin cover. Anthrax had a weak biotin and it was hard to clean up. And then on top of it, it has 3 inclusions: MERS, SARS, HIV. This is bioengineered. And you say that and they're going, oh, conspiracy theory. And who's going to think like that, except you're lacking some fundamentals in education. And I don't know what you do about that. And denial ain't just a river.
It is frustrating, because you want to believe that people would do the right thing and just err on the side of caution, but we're seeing that they're not. And I think that those of us who are trying our best are like, what is going on? Why isn't anyone else taking this seriously?
Okay, it's, to me, here's the way I see it. I see a giant boulder coming down the mountain, and I see a village, right? And I run to the village and I say, guys, there's a boulder coming. And everyone says, you're crazy. They won't even turn around and look. That's what I feel. And that's how I've felt. And it's just getting to the point where people are like, whoa, wait a minute. This is serious. Holy crap. They're closing the bars. Oh my God. When they stopped the fucking basketball games, I knew people would fucking pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. That's the day people started paying attention right there.
It was. Yeah.
Up until that point, bro, it's just a flu, bro. Bro, you're crazy. It only kills old people.
Buy canned food. She's like, we have no toilet paper back home when we get home. So we're like trying to figure out like how we're going to get toilet paper onto the plane, because we know we don't have any back where we live.
I think we can all agree that we're in a mess. How we got here, we don't know for sure. Should we start blaming and pointing fingers? I don't know. Should people be held accountable for some things that led to the deaths of a lot of people? I think so. But at this point right now, what do we do to fix this problem? How do we join together? And I know we all have different political views here and religious beliefs and whatever, but how do we join together as a society to move forward and survive this thing? How do we do that?
Well, at this point, it's going to come from your close community.
Right.
It's definitely coming from your local, because if he does shut it down, you got nobody but your neighbors. So you better hope you're on good terms with them. Really?
Yeah. my goal right now is to get back home and then take care of my cul-de-sac, and that's no joke, man. I've got friends in the cul-de-sac. If I can get back home, and I don't know if I'm a drive or fly or how that's going to happen. Right now, I'm scheduled to fly on Sunday, but I have a rental car till Wednesday, so I'm kind of covered. But yeah, when I get home, I'm staying on my cul-de-sac. The wife's already been told her job shut down. My boy's not going back to school. I mean, March is done. Neither one of them are going back to work or school until April. So
Yep.
I just need to get back to my cul-de-sac, man. Take care of my neighbors.
Back to the cul-de-sac. So first off, Nils, welcome. What's going on, man? We thought you were going to be asleep, but I'm so glad you made it.
Hey, what's up, Nils?
It's only 2:30 in the morning. So
You gotta jump on. So this might be an interesting conversation too, because we started out when we were talking about people being locked down, and none of us are really like thoroughly locked down. But Nils, you're pretty well locked up at this point, huh? Sort of, kind of.
Well, yeah, sort of, kind of, yeah.
Let me clarify. We're locked down.
Yeah, we've been in lockdown.
This house has
for
been
3
fucking
weeks.
locked down for weeks, and no one's going in or out of the
No one's
house.
going in, no one's going out, unless there is a nacho bar.
But that's voluntary.
No nacho bar.
No
No
nacho
nacho bar.
It's
No nothing. We stopped
liar.
eating out like a
It's
month
always
ago.
nacho
I was
bars.
like, no, sir, we're not eating out.
Please don't talk about Mexican food, guys. Please. Seriously, that's
It's
the one
so
thing
sad right now.
that's upsetting me the most is I want to go eat Mexican food.
You know what? What if I send you a taco? Is the post office safe?
No.
I don't know, man.
Mail
What
is
if I
not
seal it in like a biohazard container?
Bro,
I will Lysol
Wait,
it.
I got a
bro,
better
that
idea.
sounds real suspect, man.
I got a
That
better
sounds
idea,
real
Professor.
suspect.
Why don't you just eat it? Make a video, like a YouTube channel where you're just eating yummy food. You know what I mean?
I feel like I have to do that now. I really don't want to, but now I feel like I need to eat at least a taco just for you.
Oh God.
Real nice
What's
and
good,
gross too.
Sherpa?
Just food falling everywhere.
Right.
Yuki, and
Sauce.
going back to your question on how do we overcome this? What do we do as a society? And I think we're starting it right now. I think we're doing what needs to happen as a community, is getting together and talking. And that's step one, right?
Yeah, I agree.
100%. That, and I mean, again, back to tools and stuff too. It's all these businesses and everybody that are actually starting to work remote even before they're required to is a huge step too. People taking that step to make sure that their employees are set up to do what they need to do so they can keep working, rather than just saying, oh shit, we weren't prepared, so we just have to shut down and not pay anybody for 6 months.
Right.
Some of these businesses that are doing the right thing are actually going to make a huge difference. And I think in the end, a lot of them are going to end up going that route, but I feel like for some of them, it might be too late. But it's nice to see people at least thinking that way.
I can't tell you how happy I was when my leadership said, "Yo, don't come back till the middle of May."
Yeah. Somebody got their head on straight, huh?
I was elated, man, because I sit in an open seating area, and we don't have dedicated desks. You have to reserve a desk when you walk in the building.
Oof.
So I'm not even sitting at the same space every day, and I drive round trip 3 hours to get to work and back. So the fact that they were like, just work from home, and the idea that this may go on for 6 months, it's like a pay raise. What? That's like a pay raise, baby.
Right?
That's cigars and bourbon every day.
I will not deny that I am quite excited about the option of working from home, because I don't know. I spent a long time working for myself, and going to the office every day, as much as I love my job, it's still going to the office every day. And so I'm going to be super excited to be able to sit at home and maybe edit a podcast in between doing some work, or just do nothing. Maybe I'll take a nap.
Look, Professor, I'll tell you
Take
this,
a
man.
nap.
I worked at home for 4 years for Verizon when I was working in their data centers.
Mm-hmm.
My advice to you is to act like you're going to work every day. Wake up, shower, shave, get dressed, work.
Don't lose the routine.
8 hours. Because look, man, it's so easy to put in 12 hours when you work from home, because you don't
hour
have to
here,
go
hour
anywhere.
there. Who knows how long you've been doing it?
You know,
that's that's been ingrained into me for sort of a long time, except not on the hours side of it, you know, because I've been working for myself. Even when I've had a job, I've still been working for myself on the side doing other stuff. And so it's always about trying to manage that time and balance family time and balance life and balance that, oh, I need to go sit in the quiet area for 20 minutes and not think about shit for a minute. And it's hard. It's really hard to do. And then I can only imagine once you bring your actual work life home and start mixing that in, it gets even harder. So it's definitely going to be a major focus of mine to try and not get sucked too far in. But you know, that's a good strategy. Keep that routine going and keep your mind in the game.
How long are we going to do this for?
However long. We were initially figuring a half hour, and we're already getting an hour. So if you all need to take off, we'll probably
no. I wouldn't
another
be
15-20 minutes.
I wouldn't be noir if I didn't have a fucking cigar, so I'm going to get one right now.
There you go. There you go.
I'll be right back.
All right, man.
No, I think we're gonna keep doing these. You know, probably pretty readily.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to, especially if if we end up getting stuck home, and not being able to go anywhere, then this is gonna be where it's at, right? This is gonna be where we can interact with other people than who we're cooped up in the house with. Because
and I don't like my neighbors.
I know, right?
I'm sitting here going, you guys like your neighbors? I don't like my neighbors at all. I was like, this is like the only time I was really going, damn, it would be nice to have like an actual Bitcoin community, like neighborhood where you're living with people you fucking like. Because
right?
Oh yeah,
wouldn't that be cool?
Get wrecked at one time.
Well, they have that thing. What is it called?
We should have bought that mall, Yuki.
Yes.
Oh shit.
What is it?
The mall. The mall. We needed the mall.
Oh shit, the mall. I know, man. That mall would have been great in this scenario. It'd have been hard to protect it, though. We would need a whole large community of people to protect it.
All the entrances. Yeah.
Well, I think between a few of us, we probably have enough firepower that we can probably take care of it.
Yeah,
Mitch can build us the barricades and. Yeah.
Guys, Nana's gonna say goodnight. So
bye, Nana.
Have a good night, Nana. Thanks for joining us. It was great talking to you again.
Bye, Nana.
Take care, Nana.
Night.
Yeah, it's crazy to me, guys, and I'm still processing it still as it happens. And
we all know you keep saying that.
Listen, you guys are my therapists. I've always said this. I use Twitter as my therapy, and I unload my worries and fears and angers and whatever on you guys. And so you just be prepared. It's going to get way worse than this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. I keep looking at this and my wife hates it. She really hates it. But I'm like, the mountains are 10 minutes in any direction and I've got everything I need to go live out there. So I keep telling her, worst case scenario, we're good. We'll go live in the mountains, eat squirrels. It's all good.
Yeah.
Benzo, what's going on, man?
How's it going?
Good.
Hey, there he
Good.
is.
You managed to get off work finally, huh?
Just doing lunch, mate.
Oh yeah. That's right. You're still fucking lunchtime over there. Damn.
He's in the future.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah,
He's way in the future.
Hours.
Literally.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh,
Looks nice and warm there at least. It's like still 10 degrees over here, but
Yeah, I think it's a cooler day than usual. I think we're about a 26 degree Celsius day, which is really nice. But yeah,
Nice
it's
day.
a little dark behind me, but this side not too bad.
It's a
Just
nice
out in the
day.
car park.
Hey, it's gonna be 50 here tomorrow. So that's Fahrenheit, but yeah, 50. 50. I mean, nice and warm tomorrow.
It's gonna be 65 here.
Woohoo!
Woo.
Right?
Nice.
There's always a silver lining somewhere, and I don't know if Yuki, if you guys were on, I know Nils wasn't on when we talked about that before. To be able to see a silver lining or to see the sun behind the clouds, it's always there. We just have to see it. And a lot of times, it's not easy, but to have that frame of mind and to have that mindset, that positivity, helps on the inside and the outside. And, you guys all follow me on Twitter and you see the messages that I like to put out on a try to do on a regular basis. And I mean all those things because to me, to start every day on a positive note really sets the tone for the rest of your day. you know.
Exactly.
I truly believe in that, and it'll not only help your mental health, but it'll help your physical health as well.
I was telling Yuki last night that like we don't always see, like we see the negative stuff and you never know like why something's actually happening. And like we don't know, and obviously I'm not saying that this is happening for a good reason, but there are some changes that we probably need to make, and this will highlight those like in our personal lives and as a society. And so
always look on the bright side of life.
I think we all need to be getting back to our roots a little bit more. Like we maybe should have like a little garden, or we should know how to grow shit, or you know,
you're right. You're right. This definitely
that we have forgotten.
Is definitely highlighted where our weaknesses were in the fortress, so to speak, right?
So you guys are saying even though you're up on the cross there, just in you just keep a good outlook and everything will be okay.
Hey, you know, I'm not there yet. I guess I'll cross that bridge when I'm on the cross.
I always wonder why people always, you know, it seems.
Hey, Wendy.
Hey, Window.
Hey, Wendy. Oh, what's up?
Hello, anonymous person who joined under anon account. We don't know who you are.
Oh boy, I'm afraid.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, but you guys were talking about, the whole sort of the negative thing. I find it interesting that people tend to lean that way. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's me and something that I just have, but I always have an optimistic outlook on life. And it's always been told to me, believe the best and don't assume the worst in every situation. And I try to do that no matter what. And I always go into things with a questioning attitude. And I don't question with the intent to find the negative. And I look at Twitter sometimes, people will quickly go negative. It's hard to find people that's positive. It's like, what's wrong with doing that?
Yeah. Well, some people just don't. I don't think that they were brought up that way. I mean, Yuki has had shit parents, so I'm going to just straight out blame them. And, you know, like, I think this. Right. I think maybe it's partially taught, and just maybe some people have that and some people don't, you know, because I'm with you on that. Like
I have to fight the negative feelings constantly. The negative thoughts are that's what lives. I live in the fucking negative, and I have to fight that shit on a constant fucking battle. Sherpa, you know what the fuck I'm talking about, buddy.
That's totally poisonous, though. It's totally poisonous.
It is.
It's poison.
I mean, I was
horrible for me.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
I used to claim to be a pessimist by birth. And up until 2012, which I tell a lot of people like Clint Westwood, everybody that I talk to, I say, something happened. And I've been going down this spiritual path for roughly 4 years. And I found out it's up to the individual. And it's how you present yourself. It's what you want in return. It's how you speak. Because I also believe that, I mean, if you could bring the negativity into your life by constantly praying on it or complaining about it, it's like the law of attraction, you know? So I had to go ahead and change myself. I mean, I'm actually sitting here on a podcast talking, being me. I was a persona. Paulie P is a persona. If I get into a crowd, I can change, you know, and I could be vulgar and anybody I want to be. But to go into societal structure, which I never wanted to join, but I did. I mean, I go in now. I won't get out of this truck in the morning until I smoke a cigarette and I want a coffee. I'll have to pee and I'll go, you're not ready. And I'll do that. I have to control myself to know that now you're good. And then I'll get up to a counter and I'll say, good morning. And if that person does not acknowledge me, I'll say it again. And if they look for the money, I won't even give it to them. And I will say, I said good morning, and I'll say it nicely. So it's how you're going to project out that could bring it back. And plus you're going to change somebody else's, you know, outlook. Like Mitch was saying, when Mitch does those things, I don't catch everything because I'm driving. But when I see him put that positivity out, I retweet it because that's what the world really needs. Way before we need gardens and everything else. If we can't learn to communicate, there's no sense in even going any further.
Do you know, Paulie P, listen, you know something I learned this out of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. sometimes we don't know what's going on in somebody else's life. And like you said, if you say good morning and someone doesn't respond to me, I tell myself immediately, that person probably heard me, probably didn't. I don't know what's going on in their life, and it's okay. They don't have to return something back to me, because sometimes I don't know where another person is. Driving in the car, someone swerves in front of me. I don't know what's going on in that car in front of me. They could have dropped something and accidentally swerved. We don't know. So I always try to keep myself open to the fact that where somebody else is might not be where I want them to be, and that's okay. I don't need them to do something. As long as I say, good morning, I'm happy. I walk on.
How many times have we
have
said
a
to our
lot to learn
spouse?
from you.
Well, it's all
Paul,
about
you
not
said
having any
something.
expectations. Because once
Yeah,
you start having
that helps.
expectation, that's when you can get, that's when you get let down. So
Mhm.
it actually took me a long time to become a positive person, because I was brought up and I was around people that were just like negative their whole life. And I didn't know any better. I thought that was the normal way to act. But then, you know, as I got older and I realized like things weren't happening for me, I was like, I need to change the way I look at stuff and not play the victim, and see what I can do to become a better person. Because if you're sitting, like, fucked up shit happens to everybody, but if you're sitting there and you're like, okay, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, but you don't look at the little things, like the mini victories that you have, then it's going to keep, you're just, all that negative stuff and all that, like the stagnation is going to stay there. Once you start looking at like, okay, well, I found a penny on the floor today, or, you know, like somebody waved at me today, or just like those like those really tiny things. If you look at those things and you're like, okay, this is a blessing, this is cool, or, you know, somebody held the door open for me, or somebody helped me get something down from a high shelf. You look at those small things, then it starts like a snowball effect, kind of, where it just starts becoming like better and better things that will start happening to you. That's just me though.
Yeah, that's the
No, it's
attitude of gratitude. And you're supposed to like wake up, like if you're having a hard time, wake up and write down all the good things that you have to be grateful for. And then because it helps highlight that instead of drawing your attention to the negative shit that's going on. So,
You know, Paul mentioned his spiritual journey about 6 months ago. Up until 6 months ago, I was an atheist, a devout atheist. And then I found Buddhism. And even my tweets started to change, man. I'm tweeting things to people, letting them know, look, I love you. I don't know you, but I love you. Someone loves you. Don't feel alone in this world. Don't let the pressure of this world bring you down. You know what I mean? It's important to empower people emotionally and spiritually. So I feel you, Paul, when you talk about that spiritual journey that you're taking, man, because I'm on that journey right now. And it's really weird because I grew up, you know, I was born in New York and raised in DC. So you want to talk about hard knock life, that's what it is. Right. That's what it is, you know, but as I got older,
you have to be hard though. You really do. Mitch should know that being around Detroit.
It's so nice to just be able to just be like, you know what? I'm not worried about anything.
I am actually envious of people that have religion. I myself am agnostic, I guess. I don't know what it is. I don't know that there is or isn't a God or a higher being. But I envy people that can just go, everything's going to be okay because there's something looking out for me. I think I tend to be more of like, you know, anything's possible and everything's kind of like just kind of chaos. And
you don't actually have to have religion to feel that way. I mean, you can, you know, the universe, whatever you want to believe in. I mean, you can just have the outlook that, you know what, it's gonna be okay. You know,
because Buddhism isn't a religion.
It's all about spirit. It's all about spirit.
We don't have a God.
It's all about your spirit, though. It doesn't have to be a form of religion. I mean, it can be anything that you find faith and happiness in, right? And can share that with other people. So, you know, and I think a lot of it is we get back what we give more than we imagine we do.
I think a lot of it is confidence. Okay.
Yeah, that
so
too.
It's not so much confidence in just yourself, but just confidence that it is going to be okay. And maybe it is confidence in yourself and like knowing that no matter what, I'm going to get through this shit, you know?
I feel like me and Yuki are kind of on the same page with this because I try to look for potential problems in my path, but at the same time, I try to put good out into the world around me. But, you know, I'm going to have that negative part, you know, if you even want to call it that, where I'm looking for, you know, danger. I'm running through life in defensive mode.
Okay, Sharper, let me explain this to you like this. Okay, so athletes, when they're training, they picture themselves like jumping hurdles. You know, you picture yourself jumping the fucking hurdle. If you, as an athlete, picture yourself, oh shit, I'm going to get to that hurdle. My foot's going to hit it. I'm going to fall down. But guess what? That's probably going to fucking happen. You know, you're putting that shit in your mind. When you're, you know, trying to shoot a basket, you imagine yourself ringing the fucking basket. Like you have to, you know, do that positive thing. Like this is going to be fine. I'm going to get through this. And you have to have that attitude.
There's power in positive thought, man. There's power in positive thought, and there's power in positive speaking. And whether or not you're religious or spiritual, you know what? We all got each other's back, Yuki.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Rice? How you doing, man?
Not much, man. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. What's happening, right?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah.
Well, Sherpa and Yuki are, you know, they're hanging in there.
What, honey? We're gonna be okay. Sherpa and I are gonna be okay.
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say. I think what Sherpa's saying. You know, it's okay. It's okay to notice the possible things in your route, right? The possible obstacles that might be in your way, and prepare for those as they come up. But there was a saying that I heard a long time ago, and it goes, to worry about tomorrow is a poor investment in today.
Yeah.
You know, to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow is something that you totally cannot control. Is a waste of good energy. But to plan for what could happen is a totally different mindset.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm saying gotta stay alert, gotta stay prepared, but worrying or panicking, you know, doesn't benefit you.
No.
Right. You know, in the Army, they teach you to live and fight in the moment.
Right.
You can't worry about what happened 5 seconds before you breach the door because you may get killed. You can't worry about what insurgent is on the other side of the other door that you're going through because you may get killed. You have to live and fight in the moment. And that's how I live my life, in the moment. I don't worry about anything that happened before. I don't worry about anything that could happen tomorrow. I'm only in the moment. And if I'm being my best me and I'm putting out positivity all around me in every moment, then I'm being the best person I can be.
That's very Buddhist too.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
It's hard though sometimes, because if you're feeling a certain way, sometimes it's hard to let that positive energy kind of run through. So it is important to recognize, hey, this is fucked up, or this is, and I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss, but
Oh, have at it.
I'm like, I'm gonna cuss anyway.
All of our stuff's not made for kids now anyways, right?
Right.
Right.
No, but it's like, sometimes it's hard though, because I get stuck thinking like, okay, well, there's like all these things going on, like what am I gonna do? And then I just have to like take a because my mom was like, the way she brought us up was like super, like we have to prep and plan for like every single thing. Like she was so strict in that matter, and it rubbed off on me in like a kind of a harsh way, because I took that like as I got into being an adult, and I had to take a step back and be like, you don't have to control every single thing that's around you. You can, like, of course you can say, well, I want this to happen, and you can project that energy out there, but it may not happen the way you want it to. So you kind of just have to like be calm and, you know, realize that, you know, this could be dangerous, or this, you know, realize what a situation is, but just understand that whatever you like, that you can't control every single output. Like you can't control the way someone's going to react to what you say and whatnot, but it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to do that, especially when you're dealing with a lot of like really fucked up shit that just keeps coming. It's hard to try to be positive, but you have to force yourself. You have to fight it. It's like an internal battle. And like with me, like I was on antidepressants for like a really, really long time, probably for like, since I was 18. I was on and off like antidepressants and like Xanax and Klonopin, like all that stuff. Cause I've got really bad anxiety. I've got like post-traumatic stress, like all kinds of stuff. And then I realized like, I don't need, like some people, they do need it. I'm not telling anyone not to take your stuff, but like with me, I was like, I don't need to be on all this type of stuff. Like if I just change the way I'm thinking, and I just was taking it day by day. And then eventually I just got to the point where I didn't need to take my stuff anymore. And I just felt better. Like I just had like, and I think I was like conditioning myself also to be like to not, I don't know. I felt like it was like a whole shift and stuff, but I'm glad I don't have to take it anymore.
Well, I mean, thinking positively and stuff like that, and all these. I mean, they're also things that we can do to form a habit by doing something, forcing ourselves to do something that we're not comfortable with on a daily basis. You'll start to develop a habit, and then it becomes natural. And so I mean, it is hard to stay positive when you got so much going on. Like when I just got back from Walmart, and I hadn't really been out for a couple of days, and I was really trying to have this mindset of, let's keep our humanity and let's let this bring out the best in people. And unfortunately, it seems like there's a lot of people who don't have share that same mindset right now. There's a lot of everybody who's out for themselves right now and not really caring about other people. You have people hoarding stuff. I mean, like here, I live in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We don't have that many cases in the whole entire state yet. I mean, we do have some, but nothing to the degree that I should be going to Walmart and not see. I mean, I'm not in a major city like Los Angeles or where Wendy's at or anything like that. So there's no reason I think that I should be sold out of pretty much most of the groceries and all these other items. It's ridiculous.
I'm in Bozeman, Montana. There's like 25, 30,000 people here, and Walmart is just empty. It's like the medicine's all gone. There was one potato left. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the vitamins were real low. It's crazy. And I was like, I actually did buy a couple little extra things just to try to look out for other people, not to hoard it,
Yeah, that's
Hey, if
like
anybody needs any, I can mail you some toilet paper, man. I got it covered.
Well, that's what we did
You
over
don't need
here,
any.
is we bought extra stuff because like my mom is not prepared. My husband's mom is like not prepared. And I'm just like, so we bought it, like we're not hoarding anything, but like I have like 5 bags of like toilet paper and like
you're looking out for your people.
I've got a bunch of like dry stuff, and if one of my neighbors needs something, like I'll give it to them. Like we have enough food and whatnot, so I don't mind doing that. But I'm seeing people, my daughter.
Yeah, that's so cute. I was like, is that a kitty?
No, that's a little person. That's
a little person. I love it. I love it.
I'm surprised I haven't been interrupted by little people. It's because our AI is doing an excellent job at keeping them quiet.
Right?
AI/research department.
When my grandmother had back surgery and she was on pain pills, she called me telling me that little people were in the house. So anytime anyone talks about little people, that's just what I started.
she was hallucinating that little people.
Hey, so how is everybody doing, man?
Doing
Great question. Awesome. For considering the circumstances,
let's go around the room. Let's start pick somebody, Professor, and just start running in order.
Well, you're at the very top of my screen, so you're up.
Oh yeah, no, we don't. Let's start with Polly P.
Polly P then is at the top left.
Polly P.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Good, baby.
How am I doing?
How you doing, brother?
How am I doing? I'll tell you how I'm doing. I mean, because of all the conspiracy stuff and everything else, of course I'm up on things. I started prepping in 2012. I don't go home much for many reasons. But a couple of weeks ago, I put in time to go home so I could get my Texas license. Well, because of Cliff Pie and everything going on, I go to the house. I go and do what I need to do. And then I leave. And then last Monday morning, I put in my 2-week notice and let them know that I plan on coming back. And because of what's going on in the world, and I'm fine with my decision, they're fine with it. Now, I'm just laid back, taking my vitamins, using my colloidal silver, hoping that nobody's going to put nothing in my mouth or every time I cross a state line until I can get back to North Carolina, which won't be probably till Monday or Tuesday next week. Otherwise, I'm good with staying home, getting my chickens getting my chicken flock back. I want some time off. I like camping. They can turn off the power for all I care.
I'm right with you there, man.
What's in North Carolina, Polly P?
Polly P. I'm in Lexington.
I'm in Winston-Salem, man. Hit me up so we can get up.
I was just up there. That's where I went and got all my vitamins at the vitamin shop.
Yeah, well, let's hit me up, RiceCrypto@gmail, man. Let's link up.
Yeah, we'll do that up at the Haynes Mall or so.
Sweet.
Paulie P, can you still hear me?
Yeah, Mosty, what's going on, Kev?
Hey, man, family wants to say hey. Can you see me?
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
can see you.
All right. Remember Ms. Mosty?
Hi, Polly.
Hello, how are you?
Remember Mosty Jr.?
Yeah. Hey,
Polly.
I told him I got something for him, but you know, I knew you were coming. You know.
Yeah. We're in North Carolina, man. Gotta
Well,
try
it's
and
good
make
to-
our way.
Well, it's good to see that they're with you because it's less stressful no matter what.
Right.
And as you
Well,
can
I
see,
don't know
I mean,
about that.
I mean, buy a tent if you drive back. I got property. It's paid for. They ain't kicking us off. So, but that's all I got is a tent because I'm not even going in the house when I get there.
Yeah.
Not at
We're
all.
supposed to fly back Sunday, and I'm driving, and I don't know what's going on. But hey, man, I was getting ready to sign off anyway, but you jumped on, so I thought I'd give you a shout out. But yeah, I'm here in North Carolina, taking care of Mom's house. Gonna try and make it back to Kansas here soon.
All right, buddy. Will you
All
be
right.
safe?
Well, the three of you be
Stay safe,
yeah.
man.
Definitely. It was good to talk to you again, man.
Keep your people good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Pam, Mitch, love you guys.
Love
Bye,
you too,
Mr.
man.
Mosty.
Bye.
Take care.
Take it easy,
brother.
Mosty.
Take care,
Peace,
man.
Kevin.
Have a good one.
And then next on the screen we got Crypto Euclid and Oates.
Hey.
Tamara, do you want to take it first? How are you doing dealing with me?
Oh, it's always a nightmare dealing with you, but I will make it through. I'm a
That's
trooper.
typical spiritual abuse, right? I mean, on a daily basis.
Well,
we all
that's
do
what
that.
I did. I had killed all the apps, and they were still talking.
Did you
Nils, are you okay?
Did you guys
He's dead.
Does that come out of your nose?
Did you guys see how I turned that about me? I asked her how she was handling me.
Right.
So that's how really fucked up I am, guys.
With 2 hands, a bat, and maybe an oven mitt, right?
Nils, he's gonna choke.
He is. He's already joking. He's too
everyone knows I have severe mental issues. How am I handling this? Just fucking moment by moment, guys. I'm slowly losing my fucking mind, but that's okay because we're in confined quarters.
Oh yay!
And no, I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. I feel like I've been screaming at the top of my lungs that we need to be prepared for this whole thing. Worst case scenario. That's kind of been my role on all this. Is hey guys, please just consider that this shit could get out of control, and just please consider other people and stop spreading this shit. That's kind of what I've turned into on Twitter. Yeah, that's it for me. And Brenza, you are in the bird sanctuary right now.
Yeah, I was like Clint Westwood, except in the outback.
Yeah, I was wondering what that noise was.
I got
That's
sorry, I got lorikeet, lots of rainbow lorikeets around this area, so
Nice.
sorry.
That's all right.
I'm gonna be heading off in the next to say anyway.
You don't need to apologize for that. That's called background entertainment. And if you remember from the Clint Westwood episode, that was the best part.
Anyway.
It was like Clint Westwood conversation plus some birds in the background. It was pretty good damn time.
I've lost
nature.
Guys, if you can still
We can still hear you, but it sounds like you're about to drop off. So take it easy, Benz. It was good to have you on.
Bye, Benza. Sorry for calling you out.
Bye,
like
Benz. Take it easy, Benz.
You saved Benzo.
Look at Yuki. You scared him away.
I know.
Fuck, guys. I told you.
This is why you can't ever find Sasquatch, because you just scare him away every time you find him.
Well, I play disco. Everyone knows that Sasquatches hate disco music, and I have that blaring outside my window, and that's what keeps them away.
Nice. That's your bit for detractant. I love it.
So Nils,
Nils is up. What's up?
What are
Nils,
you
how
doing? What are you doing to maintain your time and sanity?
Well, this.
Yeah.
A little
juice.
Yeah, apple juice.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I'm not allowed to work till 2 weeks from now. I've got this nasty cough.
Isn't it weird to hear yourself say, "I'm not allowed to work"?
Yeah,
I'm not allowed.
They forbid me to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Nils, where are you from? What's that accent?
Alabama.
I'm from the Netherlands.
Netherlands. I love it. Cool.
Yeah. And well, we're pretty much in some sort of lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
They closed everything, bars and restaurants, and
Are you currently in the Netherlands?
sorry?
Are you currently in the Netherlands now?
Yeah, I live there.
Okay, so yeah, what's it like there with the pandemic and the coronavirus? How's everybody acting?
It's pretty good actually.
Okay.
You know that the people are hoarding,
Mm-hmm.
collecting stuff,
Mhm.
and well, it's pretty good. We've got a lot of supplies, and there are a lot of measurements taken, precaution measurements. And,
Have they closed borders there?
No.
Okay.
No, they had 3 scenarios. We're on scenario 1 now. That's extreme measurements, be apart from each other, and I'm in how you call it, a crucial work area. I'm a docker.
Okay.
So we well, once I don't have my cough anymore, I just go to work again. And my wife is in healthcare, so she has to work again.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, we live.
Well, we know you're a tough son of a bitch, so you're gonna make it for sure.
Yeah,
Stubborn if nothing else.
But there's just a lot of precautions and things we have to rules and regulations. But they didn't close the border. The scenario 1 actually means that it's here. Corona is here. It won't go away. So we just take care that it's controlled. So probably everybody's gonna get it, but if we control it, then it won't peak. So the hospitals won't flood, and
Sounds very sensible. Not like our government here in the United States.
No shit.
It was actually there were 3 scenarios. The first one is scenario 1 where we're at now, and that is try to control it. Closing down bars, restaurants, and telling people not to go outside. Closing down all the events and stuff. But it's not a lockdown, as you can't go out and stuff like that. So to control the situation, to know that most of us will get it, but won't be very much affected on it. But to be sure that we don't have the Italian situation where the hospitals can't handle it anymore, flatten it out. Let's just spread it out, flatten it out, so that hospitals and doctors and healthcare can handle it. Scenario 2 was just let it rip. Don't do anything, just woohoo, let's go.
True.
I like scenario 2.
Yeah,
it's like some Mad Max shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I'm down for that. I'm ready.
Half of us will die, whatever. And they thought, well, that's not the brightest idea. And then we had scenario 3, which was a complete lockdown. Lock down the borders, lock down everything. Don't go out of the house.
And that's still obviously an option if things get out of control.
It is an option if nothing else helps. But they decided for scenario 1 because scenario 3 it won't help. It won't help.
No,
it's like let's for example take it's just an example. Take the Incas or the Indians, in the Amazon rainwood. They lived in isolation for years and years and years. Then the white dude came, had a snotty nose, and wiped out 2/3 of the population.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's about the situation that you'll be creating then. If you lock down the borders, lock down everything, won't get people out of the house, it would last for a year at least. But Corona will still be there around you. So after a year, if you open the borders and tell people, oh well, we're Corona free, go out, then the first person comes in with Corona or some virus, it will be just like a bomb. It will be like a wave coming in and won't help anything. And so I thought, well, yeah, that what we're doing now, it sounds pretty logical. Control it. You can't get rid of it until we have a vaccine or something. So it's here to stay. So try to control it, and the more people will that get it, the more people get immune to it. And if you get large numbers who will be immune to it, then eventually you have the upper hand.
Right. Well, I think the upside
That's the big idea.
Is that there's different strains of it, right? And
yeah, you can get it. You can get it in I think 3 different factors.
Yeah,
from what I'm understanding.
Right.
So
and I think
if you get it and you build an immunity and get past it, then you have the opportunity to be able to get it at least 2 more times, from my understanding.
Right. Yeah. That immunity wasn't necessarily something that you would build from.
Well, just for that particular strain. And I mean, I've heard stuff about like a SARS, an HIV, and something else. I mean, it's all this stuff is like
it's
very
crazy.
It sounds very bioengineered. Like I'm a
for sure.
I am a conspiracy realist, and I've been talking about the economy for quite a while, but I didn't mean to even get onto that. I just
That's all right.
We haven't even made
It's a
our way
fun rabbit
around
hole
to
to
say
go
how
down,
are
though, it
we how are we doing? Oh, dude, it's a field day for everybody who's everything, anything you could think of.
Oh yeah.
Does everybody?
Maybe not aliens. I don't see aliens fitting into this equation. Not yet.
I don't know.
Maybe they have
Aliens
the vaccine.
landed,
Maybe.
And they dropped
Maybe they had the vaccine. Maybe they're the ones who brought the coronavirus. Who knows?
That's exactly it. That's what
I'm
happened.
super into conspiracy theories and like all that type of stuff. And the lizard people, they are real, okay?
And the coronavirus is their fault. See, that's how it happened.
No, I don't necessarily know if it's their fault, but they're like up here and we're like down here, and like everybody that is political, like all these political people, they're like from the bloodline. Like
I like it. I like it.
I wonder how I fit in. I wonder if I can be a lizard person someday.
Gotta have the bloodline.
Damn it.
It's all about that bloodline, man.
Well, can they like clone it into me?
You can be like a slave to one of the lizard people. That's probably the best you can get, Professor.
I'll pass. We'll leave that to Mitch.
Oh no.
Be like one of the little lizard person pet.
It'd be like prison break and be holding Teabag's pocket, except it's lizard people.
Does everybody here know Noir? Did I said
man.
that right? Yeah. Okay.
Noir.
Yeah.
Noir.
He's having that stogie. I love
Yeah,
it.
yes. I don't go a day without having at least 2 or 3.
Beautiful. So you're up, man. What are you doing in this crazy time?
Well, things are interesting here. Delaware only has 7 cases, but we are the second smallest state in the union. So 7 cases for us is a big deal.
Yeah.
Those 7 cases are in the most populated county of the state where I live. So everything here is pretty much locked down. All the bars, bowling alleys, movie theaters, restaurants, no gatherings. All the restaurants here are now delivering. They have carry out, but you can't sit and eat. Did some big purchases, some big shopping. Unlike most folks who went out and bought a ton of toilet paper and other bullshit, I went out and bought shotgun slugs and bullets and water filtration system. I can hunt, so I'm not worried about eating. It's fence that I'm most worried about, because if things get bad, I'm gonna pop a hot one in your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Straight.
That's pretty much where I am. My wife thinks I'm crazy because we had a family meeting the other night, and
when you're protecting the family, she ain't gonna think you're crazy. She's gonna be loving you to death for
I tell you one thing,
100%.
man. She didn't know exactly what I had in the house until we had that family meeting, and so I came downstairs with my duffel bag that I had when I was in the Army. And I just laid it all out. And she was like, what the fuck is all this? Why is all this shit in the house? I didn't even know we had all of this shit. And
I got you. That's how you get
You're under control.
I look at it this way though, man. Both my wife and I are fortunate that we're able to work from home. My wife works from home 100% of the time. And I work about an hour, 20 minutes away. So I'm out of the house, and with everything that's going on, I need to make sure that my family's protected and that they can defend themselves. And I'm surrounded by women in my house. There's 7 of us. It's just me, my son, and 5 women. But
I commend you, dude.
Everyone other than my 7-year-old daughter knows how to shoot everything within the house. And at the end of the day, what I won't be is prey. I'd much rather be a predator. So if I need to go out and hunt deer or rabbit or squirrel to make sure that this family eats, we're going to eat. I have a complement of seeds, legumes. We have edibles in my back and front yard. Worst case scenario, we can get it cracking. But I'm hoping that it doesn't get to that point. But if it does, I'm ready.
That's good.
I'm ready. I'm looking out for my neighbors. I just moved into this neighborhood. My neighbors are mad cool. I love them to death. Older dude next door to me. So I'm talking to him every day. Maybe you should, reconsider going out to the bar. Maybe you should reconsider, going down to the beach, because he has a house at the beach, and, he links up with his friends. They go, I'm like, maybe you should reconsider. He's like 70. I'm like, look, bro, this can really take you out. Let's if you want to have a fish fry, come on over, man. You know what I mean? I got a deep fry, a peanut oil fryer in my backyard. Just fry some fish. We got some crabs, some shrimp. We could do it real big,
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to look out for my neighbors, trying to look out for my family. One thing I learned about when I was in the Army is plan for the worst, but anticipate the best. So I've planned for worst case scenario. Maybe I should have bought more food. That's possible. But as long as I have quivers and I have ammo, bro, I'm going to eat.
That's right.
I'm going to eat, bro.
That's
and
right.
I'm 260 pounds, bro, so I need to eat a lot, so I'm good.
Right there with you, man. That's what I love about where I am is, I've got plenty of natural resources around.
Yeah, man. It's deer and fish all over Delaware. I'm like 10 minutes from the water, so I can go fish at the beach. We have a really big deer population here. Our hunting season is like bananas, bro. They're like almost paying hunters, like the farmers pay hunters to come out because the deer just decimate crops.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Decimate crops, man. So they're like begging for us to like come out. I just came back a couple of months ago from a boar hunt in Georgia, man. I picked up about 52 pounds of meat, some really good boar meat, man. And, I'm straight, bro. I'm straight.
Oh, yeah.
I ordered all of my cigars already. I got 200 cigars in my humidor. I got a couple bottles of scotch and some bourbon. I bought a couple bottles of wine for my wife. I'm just gonna sit it out, man.
Lisa and her husband went and stocked up on Tito's. They got like probably 15 cases of Tito's sitting in their pantry. I loved it. I was like,
right.
oh yeah, and a bunch of cases of Fresca.
Yep. The only other thing I bought was some Everclear in case I needed to make an antibacterial.
Oh, there you go.
So I bought some Everclear essential oils, and I bought what else did I get? Oh, I bought some colloidal silver, some chaga,
chaga mushroom. Yeah.
So I'm straight, bro. I'm ready.
Can I interrupt really quick? Breaking news: more than 1,300 inmates escaped from prison in Sao Paulo after tensions over coronavirus restrictions.
Oh, shit.
Think about that, guys. You know what I mean?
It's going to spread like wildfire.
We're going to start seeing some really crazy shit that we didn't
yeah.
even think about. Like, I wouldn't have actually thought about people breaking out of prison and stuff because of things. I mean, that's shit you don't even think about. Wow.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, at some point, what do? Do you just fucking shut the thing down and just let them all die? What do you do?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It depends on your crime too. I mean, it's a whole lot of shit that goes in who gives us
Isn't
the
this
right to be judge and judge
yeah?
and
Isn't this the movie The Stand or the book The Stand just in real life? I remember the scene where the guy was in jail. Remember?
Yeah.
It was a real thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're saying we need to get a little bit of Blue Oyster Cult going.
All right.
Does anybody remember the intro music?
Don't fear the Reaper.
Yes.
I love that song.
Yep. That's a great song.
You
It's
reach it at the
actually
same time.
eerily true right now, in a way.
It's really bizarre to me. This is art, life imitating art to me, and I'm. This is strange. This is weird shit, guys. It's really weird.
It is.
Wendy, how about you?
Yeah. Earth to Wendy.
Yeah, there it is.
Where's the mute button? I can't find it.
I was typing to somebody.
I have
In
that problem a lot.
So everything is completely shut down here. Like my school is shut down. My daughter's daycare messaged me, and they shut it down. My husband's still working. My husband's an electrical contractor, so.
Love it.
So, so he's still working. He's still having his guys working. He's going to try and keep them working as long as they can. And I work from home, so I don't have to worry about it. It's just kind of hard because normally, like when I'm at school, like my daughter, she goes to daycare. She'll go to my mom's house like once or twice a week, so I can like get things done. But I'm keeping my daughter home with me. My mom is 65, so I'm trying to tell my mom she needs to stay home and all that type of stuff. But you know, when people get to be a certain age, sometimes my mom is she's very independent. And she's a very like, I have to do things for myself. I was like, Mom, I'll bring you toilet. My daughter does not have corona. Can I come say hi to the people? Do you want to say hi to Twitter?
Hi.
Hi, baby.
Hi, little Wendy Jr.
Hi, baby.
That's what it's all
Wait,
about.
hold on. This is a perfect opportunity. We have the chat pack for kids, and we finally have a kid to ask a question to.
Yeah, baby.
I want to pull a random one.
Okay. Who's that? Do you want to say hi to your friends, Yuki and Goddess?
Hi, Yuki and Goddess.
Hi, baby.
Oh, we love you.
We love you. I hope you're doing good. Take care of your mama.
That's precious.
All right, here we go. Here's a question.
A question for you, babe.
If you got a parrot for a pet, what would you teach it to say?
If you had a parrot for a pet, what would you teach it to say? What would you teach the
Go get this. Go get the ship.
Go get the ship?
That's great. I love
awesome.
That's awesome.
Do you want to give anybody some advice or tell them anything? No? Okay.
Fresh out of advice.
Go get the ship, damn it.
Go show it to them. Show them what you made. Show them. Should we have sushi toys?
Oh. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we can market that.
Yeah, no, we went to the market the other day, and they had like a set. I was like, this is cool. They can't.
I know. I love that.
They can't see you. Gotta sit up on Mama's lap. Yes.
I love it. Beautiful.
Yeah. Any last words before you go? Because you left your toy on in the living room. You should probably turn it off, right? Nope. Do you want to tell anybody? Don't be loud. Do you want to tell anybody anything else before we go?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to say?
That was fitting.
Perfect.
That was priceless.
Priceless. That was
A lot
priceless.
of people saying the same thing.
Right?
Yes.
She's 3.5 years old. She gets a pass. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
She's just
Absolutely.
figuring out the trends. Don't worry.
That's
Before we
right.
go, do you want to tell them who your favorite singer is? What is his name?
Cyrus.
No, what's his name?
Holly.
Holly. No, what's his name? It starts with the R. You want me to tell them who it is? Yeah. It's Ray Price. She loves Ray Price and Willie Nelson, and she also likes when when Willie Nelson duets with Ray Charles, right?
Smart kid.
I
Smart
love
kid.
Ray
good.
Charles.
Yeah.
Good taste.
What we really need to know from her is if we should buy or sell our Bitcoin.
Oh.
Right.
Should they buy or sell their Bitcoin? What do you think? Are we holding till zero? Are you going to sell your Bitcoin?
That's a symbol. It's
He
gonna
dropped
change.
it.
Sell the
He
Bitcoin.
dropped
Sell
it.
it.
That's
She's just mixing it up with the stock market. Don't worry.
Right.
Tell everybody, say have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
I hope you and your families are well.
I hope you and your families are well.
Love you guys.
Oh, good job.
Good job.
Bye.
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 That was awesome.
That was great. All right. So Rice, that means you're up.
Oh man, yeah, I mean, I'm doing pretty good. Just, I mean, like when I woke up this morning, just within like 2 hours, I was already burnt out with all the information that I was trying to like catch up on what was going on.
Yeah.
I like I said earlier, I'm big on studying economics, and I've been trying to tell people, like, based off a lot of my study and a lot of other research that a lot of other people have been doing, that since 2008, we had an economic collapse, and all we did was put a Band-Aid on a broken bone, and now we're experiencing something that we've never experienced in history of time. And I mean, like, as far as me, like, personally, I mean, I'm good. Like, I'm trying my best to make sure I've got as much stuff as I need at the house, take care of me and my girl and my neighbors, friends that are close by, trying to be big on community, trying to educate people about stuff to get for their immune system. I mean, right now I'm like really concerned about other people who haven't been putting a lot of thought into this and are last minute trying to do something. And so I'm trying to, encourage people to get things for their immune system. Earlier, I heard somebody mention chaga mushroom. We definitely vitamin C, vitamin D, and D3. There's something called Usnea, spelled USNEA, that's supposed to help your respiratory and lungs. So if you happen to get it, it should help you. So I mean, as long as you're young, healthy, and don't have like any type of diseases or problems that are causing issues with your immune system, and I think most people are going to be fine. I agree that I think everybody's going to get this, but the scary thing to me about all this is, like, when somebody was saying something to me about their particular state in Arizona, and it was Friday or Saturday. It's like, I think they said I think we have like 47 cases in the entire state of Arizona, and they're closing schools next week. Talking about starting today. And it's just, it's a lot to think about with this virus. Now, is the virus completely as serious as, or is it something that the majority of humanity is going to be okay? We're not really being fed correct information. But I also think that on the flip side, that there's a whole lot of other shit going on. And that's what I'm more concerned about. Like with President Trump in the United States, putting us on an emergency state or whatever it is that they call it, declared us in an emergency state or whatever, it puts him in a position to have a lot more power and control in a lot of things. So we could actually be facing martial law here in the United States. There could be some shit going on between the government and division. I mean, Donald Trump really could be trying to like drain the swamp. There could be a bunch of people about to be arrested. The fact that they're closing down airports all around the world. I mean, it doesn't seem like they need to do all this for what's going on. I mean, you heard what the guy in Netherlands said. I mean, how they're taking it. I mean, it just seems like there's something more to this. And then on the flip side, all of that, the timing of this thing is just fucking crazy.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, that's when I said earlier about this being a field day for conspiracy theorists, because I mean, like, this can tie into a lot of things. I mean, like with the germs and spreading of virus, we could go to a cashless society. there's, you could take into the Agenda 21 situation, the Georgia Guidestones, trying to minimize population and get rid of people. This is a good way of doing it. There's a whole lot of things that kind of come into play with this. There's a lot of talk about the Federal Reserve, like a lot of people losing faith in the Federal Reserve and Donald Trump actually doing something about it. So, I mean, we might, it's really
trying
crazy.
to abolish it.
It's crazy and it's uncertain times, dude. It's so fucking, and it's like, it's so much information. Like, I feel like I want to put some videos out. I'm getting ready to do some stuff tomorrow, but it's even faster than cryptocurrency because there's so much happens in crypto so quickly. It's kind of hard to keep up. This is even worse because there's like, you got to take into account what's going on as far as the pandemic, and then you got to take into account what's going on our global financial system. Because if you just look at everything since a week ago yesterday, when the Dow Jones futures dropped like 1,000 points, and then the market started tanking that Monday, and then we saw the stock markets halt a week ago today. I think it halted twice last week, and it halted today. The Fed just dropped interest rates to 0. They're probably going to go negative Wednesday or Thursday. There's so much going on, and they're putting so much money into the system, and it's not doing anything to fix it. It's just like, I don't know what to care about more. What to be more concerned with, so I'm trying, like dude was saying earlier about living in the moment. I'm trying to live as much in the moment as I can, but I'm trying to educate myself so that I could try to help educate others, so that I can have a better understanding of what's going on to combat this. Because and I really, really, really want to encourage people to start working together with each other and start trying to like form a little community of neighbors, families, friends to work together and have each other's backs. Community is so important. The weather's starting to warm up. I don't know how long this thing is going to be. It could be several months, it could be longer. So people should start growing vegetables and farming. People need to start becoming more reliant on being self-sufficient, I think, because we don't know what's going to happen. And I just think it's really smart. So, I mean, mentally, I've been more trying to concern myself with other people. It seems like my little bit of income coming in pretty much dried up. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm not making no money. They're passing laws right now. They're going to prevent landlords from evicting people. My power company sent information that if you're affected, they're not going to shut off people's power. So at this point, I just am trying to do as much as I can to really educate people and help people and put people in better spirits and positivity, because there's just we can't feed into this negativity, like, and we got to try to set a better example for these people who are looking out for themselves, because I really, really, really think that all this is going to get a whole lot worse before it gets any better.
Agreed.
That was a lot.
Agreed. Yeah.
Sherpa, you're up. What's going on over there?
Pretty much just been trying to prepare. Our business is mostly focused around people who are at high risk in this whole thing. So trying to get a hold of masks, sanitizer, gloves, all of that shit, so that our drivers are able to deliver medicine. Worrying a lot about the seniors in the area, a lot of senior centers, old folks homes and shit are basically not allowing caregivers or anything in there. So you've got their bare bones staff trying to deal with dozens of people with fall risks, aspiration, shit like that. It's gonna get really bad. I mean, I've got to say, there's a lot of people living hand to mouth who, may be out on the fucking streets in the next few months. You've got a lot of seniors who are going to be affected. And I mean, it worries me for them. And so I'm just trying to figure out how to minimize risk to them as best I can, and, see what we can do for them. Because they're the ones who are really going to suffer if we don't handle this correctly, not the younger people.
for the most part, 2% of the younger people. But yeah, I mean, when you get over the age of 60, the numbers are pretty strong, you know, percentage wise. I think it's like between 3 and 5% over the age of 60 will have really bad effects from this. You know, again, I want to say, you know, thank you all for coming on tonight. You know, this is, I think, something that is important. I think it's important to surround ourselves with people we care for, and, you know, the community, and to help, you know, try and keep that smirk going, that little bit of laughter, that you know, that little joke here and there in the toughest of times. You know, I think it helps genuinely. And, you know, having everybody here tonight this was amazing. Professor, I mean, I don't think we could have asked for a better evening and better people to hang with.
No, seriously. And it's not even over yet. You know, we still got to hear from Eli. He's been kind of hanging out quiet in the corner over there, but
well, I want to thank you guys for doing this, man. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for doing this, because I mean, it is much needed, man.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Eli, what's going on?
Hey.
Not much here. Outside the house, just taking all of this. A little worried myself. Probably bouncing in the car after we had a meeting with HR. I mean, I'm healthy, but it's a lot to take in, especially for somebody my age. Like, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot going on, man. It's just it's a crazy world.
Yeah, I'm like probably the young person in the chat, but I mean, this is probably like the worst thing that I guess I've gone through. I mean, I've gone through hurricanes, and being from Florida, you know, being from Florida, going through a hurricane, it's like spring break for us, honestly.
Right.
As sad as it sounds, as sad as that sounds, to us, a hurricane is like a party. But it's been tough with hurricanes, without a doubt. You know, other states, but this is probably the toughest thing, just because, you know, my parents are in that age group of 65 plus, so I'm more worried about them than myself. I mean, last year obviously not at the same time, but, you know, in months period, and that's what more worried some about this, and just, you know, I'm staying home, you know, so that's all that today. That's what, man, it's, you know, it's a lot at stake, and try to be positive on Twitter, you know, saying, you know, we're all into this together. It's gonna be okay. Even Bitcoin's gonna be okay. It's just a little speed bump on the way, but it's a big speed bump for sure.
Speed bump for sure.
For sure, speed bump. A major speed bump. But I mean,
the drawbridge
I
fell in.
appreciate. I mean, yeah. I mean, I appreciate the invite today. It feels good to, you know, talk to people outside of work and open up, and I don't know. It just feels good to open up. I mean, Florida's
good to have you, man.
Yeah, Florida's good right now. We're not that bad. I mean, we have sunny weather, 85, 90-degree weather. If anybody wants to come down. Lots of fishing. I've been fishing all these past few days, trying to stay away from people or large crowds. But, you know, obviously, you know, it's going to be okay, guys, for sure.
Yeah.
And fishing will always fix it. I gotta go fishing. It's too cold out here right now.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to. We're gonna sign off. Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, Professor. Crypto Campfire. You guys are doing an amazing job out here. Thanks for the invite. I think we're all gonna make this. I'm gonna try to lighten up a little bit on Twitter.
Thank goodness.
Less doom and gloom, more fun. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for Nils is losing it over there. It's okay, buddy. But yeah, that's it. We got this team. We got this, fam. We got this. We're gonna pull through. We're gonna make it. You know. And thank you guys. And that's it. That's all I got to say, I reckon.
Awesome. Thank you
It was
both
so
for
good to
coming
have you,
on.
man.
This was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Love y'all.
Definitely
All
do
right,
it again,
bye.
man.
Love you guys too. Everyone take care, and I'll see you guys out on Twitter.
All right,
Okay.
peace.
All right,
Take it easy, everybody. We'll definitely be doing this again for sure.
Oh yeah.
Bye,
for sure.
guys.
Bye bye.
All right.
See you later.
Oh, that was fun.
was a
Yuki's a
good one.
trip. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I was.
I love the cat face
You
though.
know what I was thinking about? What if you were, like in prison for 5, 6, or 10 years, and you get out, and you find your country down in lockdown? I mean, that kind of sucks.
That'd be crazy, wouldn't
You
it?
come out of lockdown to go into lockdown. Yeah, that would definitely suck. There's no question about that.
Go from being arrested in jail to going house arrest.
It's kind of like my kids when they were younger. You get this, but did you die though?
Yeah, I'm free. No, you're locked down. Fuck it.
Right? Oh shit! I'm gonna
But
step
at least we have
outside.
things like this. The world can go completely to hell, but as long as we can jump on here and we can all talk to each other and have a good time, it's all worth it.
Damn straight.
Absolutely, man. I gotta head off, but thank y'all for doing this. It was really fun.
Take it easy, Sherpa. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. See you on the next one, brother.
Absolutely. Good talking to y'all.
Man. Stay
Peace.
positive.
Right on.
Later.
It's a lot of people right now can communicate, and we can find out, like having Nils and people around the world. But I couldn't stress enough to people, and I got on a couple of live chats over a couple of years. Silvertooth, when he was doing his little Patreon and stuff. I can't stress enough for people to go down to your local truck stop somewhere. The two-way radios are totally different from what a CB is. So the two-way radios are one frequency that's great within your neighborhood. But if for some reason communications do get cut off, you got to remember there's a lot of resilient people out there that will know that within so many miles of each other that they will be able to communicate and pass word, because that's probably the biggest thing we have to fear, really, is the lack of communication, because they can roll up on you. Anything can happen. It's really going back to the still, 1700s. It really is. And people are not really wise enough, I don't believe, and I hate to talk about humanity, but it just doesn't seem like everybody is aware, or they just don't want to be aware. And like I think Rice was saying, he stresses on trying to communicate with people. I've gotten more stressed trying to I've laid off really trying to communicate because I find it unhealthy for me to really go any further with it. I've been posting stuff to 10 direct people that I love and care for, friends and family, and I'll get a thumbs up or no. People, these are close, net people in my life, and it's like they don't care. So what can you really do? You have to look at life as, well, it's going to be thrown at us, so you got to go. But I would stress to everybody to at least go down and get a $50 handheld 40-channel CB radio, just in case, because I think everybody should have one. Really.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Got mine.
Right. I got that, and I got a bunch of little, like those two-way radios that you're talking about, and pass them out to my neighbors.
Exactly. And then you can go run and hide in the bushes, and be like, Roger, Roger.
Well, you don't know. You might not be able to. There might be a case where you're not able to stick your head out the window.
Yep.
Who we really have to feel bad for are the large societies. I mean, the New Yorkers, people in Boston. I'm
Yeah.
fortunate to have, you know, an acre. So I got some running room, you know. If anyone has a porch is a benefit, but I can't imagine like Nils seems, I don't know where Nils is. I mean, if you're, you know, a lot of apartment buildings don't even have that balcony. So
Right.
that's what can make you stir crazy. And living in Florida myself for 12 years, I went through Gene and Francis back to back. And I'll tell you, without the power, living in Florida and, you know, not having that cold beer, and but you watch people come together, and it depends on your community. And if you really don't know the people around you, which in 10 years at my property, I know the old man next door. That's basically it, besides a guy down the street. And there's one guy out back I've mingled with. The only problem I have is they got more firepower than me.
Right.
And you gotta hope that they're kind people
On your side.
Yeah.
Right.
And like Rice was saying, you try to communicate. I haven't been around there long enough to communicate, and it seems like most people, you know, they do. They look at you, have the tinfoil hat, but now is the time. I mean, you have to look at. I mean, people are going to start talking regardless. Unfortunately, I'm not getting back for another week, and I got to worry about borders. I mean, the HOS, FMSCA, which all us truckers hate, they just went wide open for anything to do with direct Walmarts. I mean, personally, I do a lot of beef straight out the plant, which goes to package or, you know, distribution places. But they have just opened wide open, no rules. If I want to drive 24 hours, but I have to have a certain type of shipment, the government's done that. But is anybody saying, yo, here's double the pay?
Fuck.
You know, all you got to do. I mean, luckily I saw J-Man Care before going home 2 weeks ago. He gave me 4 liters of his colloidal silver he makes. And he gave me this little spray bottle. That's what I do every time I get in and out of the truck. You know, that's the most you can do. But
Right.
you can't fear it. You can't fear it.
You can't. And you know, and that's been pretty much the hypothesis of all the conversations that I've had today, is that, you know, we can't be afraid. We can't live in fear. You know, you can't panic. You have to maintain level-headedness about you. And I think that's the other importance of community, right? And, you know, because if you're losing your shit, it's up to all of us to pull each other together and say, hey, man, you know, we're going to be okay. You know, to worry about something you can't control is just going to drive you nuts. And you don't have control over it. So why worry about it? You know,
I
all
was
you
going
can
to
do is
say to
prepare
Rice,
for it.
you need to step back. I mean, Rice seems like he's doing what
wound.
I was doing a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's
And
wound
like,
up.
I got away from the Alex Jones. I got away from that. And I really went into the spirituality part of going, you know, I still have to go in and keep up, you know, but I will definitely sit here and say, and I am is what it's about. And I demand it, you know. I sit here today, you know, I take a deep breath, and I demand. I say, I am immune to all evil that can be delivered. I mean,
Right.
I put it out there and I believe it. And most people think, but I'm not preaching it to people.
We don't think that about you, Paulie. We know that about you.
Exactly. Well, that's what you know. You know what's funny about you saying that, because I've heard that my whole life. You know, they say he's certifiable.
Yeah.
But you know, I never let myself into people. That was the thing.
Right.
They always saw the crackpot having, you know, they never got to see the serious side of me. And you know, when people find, you know, wow, you've changed. No, I haven't changed. I've just decided to put the idiot away and let people know, you thought you were dealing with that guy. And a lot of friends have said that. But I believe that spirituality's done it for me. And Sherpa, I mean, him himself, it's like I've told Clint a few times, the pessimist by birth that I was, and I say was, but I have a personal thought about all that. A 100% optimist is bound to get screwed. So it's like having the two little devils from all the cartoons and all the funny shows. If you don't have that one telling you watch your ass,
right?
The one that's constantly going, it's great, it's all good. Nah, you got to have that Sherpa side to you, man. You have to have it.
You have to have that balance, you know?
Exactly.
And that goes with everything in life, I think, and it all comes down to balance. Guys, I gotta take a leak. I'm gonna have a cigarette. Then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to bed.
Coronavirus. You had too many of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. This has been a lot longer than I anticipated, but it was
it was amazing.
This was amazing.
Very therapeutic for a guy that doesn't get
yeah.
much communication. That's for sure.
Right.
Keep an
on,
eye
brother.
out. We'll be doing it more. Definitely.
Yeah,
this
for
is
sure.
Not the last of this.
Absolutely not.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, y'all have a good
watch
night.
your asses. Love
That's
y'all,
right.
man.
Love you
Watch
too,
your
man.
Love y'all,
Be good.
man. Hey,
Take it easy,
Talk to you
guys.
soon.
Hey, be good, Nels.
Yeah.
yeah, I will.
We'll
Thanks.
see
No,
you.
you
Hey,
won't. He's
Levi.
lying.
Hey, bye-bye.
See ya.
All right, later.
Have a good night.